Hi everyone, so it's Holly with Missouri River Soap, and today I'm making a honey apricot batch. I've already added in the honey. I thought I had started the video, but it turns out I started, but the camera did not start. So I've already added in a little bit of honey diluted with some water from my batch. And now I'm going to add in the goat milk. I like to mix this all in ahead of time so it's well blended. And I have to apologize about my voice. I was out sick for a couple of weeks and I'm doing well and I feel good. My voice just doesn't want to come back to me. But I did want to make some videos for you. I also wanted to add in a little bit of titanium dioxide. Oh, this is messy. I thought I was being clever putting it in a jar so that I could put the lid on the top, but I see now that I just made a big old mess. This soap is going to try to turn brown, more tan I think. So I'm just going to add a little bit of titanium dioxide to the base. Now I mixed up my lye solution last night, and it's a very discounted solution to make room for the honey and water and the goat milk and the sodium lactate. So I am going to go ahead and strain it. Okay, it's just emulsified. I'm going to split some off because I don't want them to be discolored. So against my better judgment, I'm going to mix this in dry. So I've just mixed up an apricot color. And hopefully that's gonna mix in nicely. That's pretty. I may add, yeah, I'm going to add a smidgen more. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's a nice, pretty color. And into this one, I'm going to add some more white, which is going to be a bit of a pain. So I think I'm going to pour a little out. Okay, super. This will just be a little bit of an accent color within the tan base. This fragrance oil smells so good, but it's very quite dark yellow, orangish. So I've added in the titanium dioxide to just kind of lighten up the final tan color. So I'm going to pretty much put it all in. Take a moment to scrape here. The batter is getting quite thick, and even though it's unscented, that has to do with the fact that there's honey and there's goat milk, and both of those will accelerate a batch. I think I'm just going to leave it splattery so that I don't mix in the yellow with the other colors, because the yellow is going to be tan eventually. So I'm just going to clean off the edges. Apologize, the dehumidifier decided to run. Hadn't done that all day. So I'm just going to clean off these edges. And I'm going to let this gel, and I will see you back here for the cut. Okay, so I am back to cut the Honey Apricot Soap. I split the loaves about a week ago, so they've already discolored quite nicely on their edges. I did cut some of the bars so that I could get some well on their way to discoloring, so I can get some pictures. This soap smells so good. So again, the creamy center will discolor to the darker brown of like what is on the edges here. And that's just due to the vanillin in the fragrance. Some of the top of the soap where the darker was exposed already is quite a bit darker than even the edges. So here I have a bar that was cut several days ago, and it's getting pretty close to its depth. I can tell it's a little darker up here where the air had, gotten, well, what am I trying to say? Anyway, it got more air clear up here at the top, so it's gone ahead and discolored. Every now and again, do get a spot from the fragrance discoloring. Usually that completely evens out at the end. I did get a little bit, let's see if it's gonna focus. I have a little bit of glycerin rivers. This batch got pretty hot, so the glycerin rivers are to be expected. I always try to mix my titanium dioxide with less water than what it's called for. I kind of like this halo. Do you see the halo around the colors? That's kind of a neat look that sometimes happens from overheating. So like if I mix up, say 12 teaspoons of titanium dioxide, you would use typically 12 tablespoons of water. Well, I'm going to do my best to get away with 6 tablespoons. And if that's not good enough to disperse it properly without specks, then I go ahead and add up to like 9 tablespoons of water to the 12 teaspoons of titanium dioxide. So I try to do not as much water as what the directions would call for. So that can help a lot, especially I soap with, even though I soap with like a reduced water, it's still considered high for me. So like I typically soap at 30%. I'll go ahead and cut my samples. I typically soap at 30% lye solution, so I have enough time to work with the batch. And so there's already, a little extra water going on in there. So my goal is not to add too much water, and this applies to any colorant you would mix with water, like an ultramarine. So always try my best not to add too much excess water so that I don't get the crackles. But it still happens. So that's all there is to it. It looks so good. It smells so good. It is, okay, I'm going to try to explain this. So it's like a apricot, and it does have a sweet warmth of the honey, but I also have in there, it's like, I have a fragrance from Indigo, and I think it's like vanilla pastry filling or something like that. So it's just a sweet vanilla without being buttery and without being caramel like. And that's what I'm getting really strong from this, is the honey and the apricot, and just like a sweet pastry filling like vanilla, if that makes sense. So nice. I'm really excited to use this soap when it is ready. Right up my alley. And this discoloration is actually so mild that it's pleasant. It's not super dark brown, and I don't like super dark brown. That's why I won't soap with pink sugar, because I just don't like that, and I don't care for vanilla stabilizer. There are 2 reasons. One, it smells really bad. There's 3 reasons. It smells really bad. It just seems like a chemical addition that's not necessary. And then whether it actually lasts for very long is a whole nother, you know, question story. So it may work at first, but doesn't mean it's going to work long term. So I'm seeing that these soap bars on the edge of the loaf are a little bit smaller than these middle ones. So I'll have to pay close attention when I weigh these. Sometimes I hold some bars back, like the littler bars. I'll hold them, and then when these ones sell out, then I will add the smaller at a little reduced price. I usually try to sell my main properly sized bars first. I don't know where I'm going with that. I can put that up front, but now my line's messed up. And since I'm a little wacky doodle in that department, that's just gonna annoy me, so we're gonna move it. Just get moving, let it sit over there. Okay, so here we have the Honey Apricot Soap. And this one is not discolored all the way. And then we have a bar that has been working on discoloring, and it is well on its way. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.